does like morning workouts. So I asked him whether I could join his morning workout. It's not intuitive for me to go and tell someone that, hey, can I join your morning workouts? I don't usually do that. But for some reason, I don't know whether it's because of like a survival instinct that I had back then. It was the very onset of me staying on my own, me trying to work on my depression. Right? It's damn simple. It's like a very slow jog around the neighborhood. Right? Very slow jog, some pumping, very slow jog, some sit up. So it's all very slow. It unleashes the chemicals in the brain, and it helps to balance things out. Right? So it went on for like a couple of months, and then I started to have the habit of exercising as well. So the good thing is, from there I managed to lose 12 kg. One more round of applause. It doesn't require like a freaking long distance, like 10 kilometers run every single day. But it's just about like starting small, really small, slow jog, 5 minutes, slow jog. Then every day you just do a little bit more. Yeah, so to really to kickstart the habit. Right? And more importantly is the act of exercising itself helps to balance out the brain. Another thing that I did was meditation. Meditation was something which I picked up during that period as well. During the onset, I was doing like 3-4 sessions a day, and it would be like average of half an hour during those days. But yeah, so meditation was one big tool for me as well. So what I learned from it, right, is that meditation is not about like not having thoughts. This is my own take. This is my own understanding. It's not about not having thoughts. It's about living with your thoughts, living with the distractions. So you have to try sitting down, and if you try to go into, if you try meditation, right, confirm as you are trying to quieten down, you will have thoughts. This is just how our brain works. There will be thoughts when you start to think about, hey, did I turn off the stove? Does my towel smell? What did I have for lunch? And all this kind of shit will start coming. So what I learned from it was to ignore all of these. So when there are thoughts coming in, you don't always have to entertain every single thought. You don't have to hold on to it. And now thinking back, the reason why I fell into depression was because I was always, at the moment I got negative thought, I wasn't disciplined in the way I was managing my thoughts, right? So when the thoughts came, I entertained it. So imagine having someone that you really dislike, right, coming to start to talk to you. Then instead of ignoring the person, I continue to try to talk back. And I continue conversing with that annoying person that I don't want to entertain, right? And then the conversation just goes on now. And what's going to happen? That annoying person, which are like the thoughts in your head, right? They're going to come in with the negative conversations. The more you engage with them, the more negativity is going to bring up in you. So through meditation, I learned to not entertain the thoughts. When the thoughts are here, I acknowledge that, oh, I'm having some negative thoughts. Acknowledge that it exists, and I don't have to do anything to it. This is what I learned from meditation. The management of your emotions, management of your thoughts. You can choose the kind of thoughts that you want to entertain. Yeah, much like how you can choose who you want to talk to. There are frameworks to manage our thoughts. I signed up for a course, for a life coach course, hoping that someday I could apply what I learned for myself to hopefully bring some value to others as well, who may be in a way going through what I went through, or whichever situation that they are going through now. Right? So C is for situation. No, C is not for situation. Nobody. Situation starts with S. Okay, but yeah. So circumstance is basically whatever the things that happen. It is not good, neither is it bad. It's just what happened. Right? Be an accident. You be an accident?
Oh, yeah.
Be an accident. So be an accident, or be like a divorce, or whichever. These are just what it is. It just happened. Right? It is not positive, or it's not negative. It's not painful on its own. Right? Now, when a circumstance arises, we then have thoughts about it. Right? Which is T. Thoughts. So for example, like an accident, right? So what were some of the thoughts that you had? Do you recall?
I recall like, oh shit,
Oh shit.
But yeah,
So what else? Anything else?
Then yeah, a lot of worries and kind of anxious.
You start to worry about
Then,
the future.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also relief, like a lot of is I think your perception of it at the moment. Your judgment is what makes things good or bad.
Okay. So you start to develop, we will develop thoughts, right? And this is just what our brain does, right? And there will be thoughts that are positive, there will be thoughts that are negative, so on and so forth, right? But they will come, right? But here's the thing, from our thoughts comes our feelings, our emotions. So if let's say it's an accident, right? So circumstance is an accident. Thought is, am I going to be able to walk again? Right? Will I be wheelchair bound? Let's just say, okay, will I be wheelchair bound? That is my thought, right? What's the feeling after that? Confirm negative, ma. I start to worry, ma. What if I cannot do my favorite sport? What if I can't do this? What if I can't do that? Right? So this is the link, right? From the circumstance comes our thoughts, and then from the thought, it exudes the kind of the emotions that we have. Now, then from the feeling, right, it then affects our action. So now that I worry, my thoughts are like I'm just totally, my whole brain is just wrapped around like, okay, I'm going to wheelchair bound, right? Actions could be, I start to throw tantrums. Whoever is there to encourage me, I reject all the kinds of encouragement, right? I don't want to, I don't want to go for physiotherapy, right? I find that I start to do things which does not help my situation at all. If my aim is to be able to walk again, then the actions that comes from, that is inspired from the feeling do not help. You see? And then what's the result? I cannot walk. Then I really become wheelchair bound. So what we just shared over here was maybe like an imaginary situation that perhaps that could come from an accident. The circumstance that I was facing back then, right? I was seeing my wife unhappy every day. I see her in tears almost every night. I see her struggling with family, with work, and all of this stuff. Now, what are my thoughts? How come as a husband I can't seem to do anything for you? See? And then from there, then obviously, so one of the thoughts that came was really, why am I such a fucked up husband? It all just grows from there. So the moment I have, why am I such a fucked up husband? I was asking such lousy quality questions to myself, right? So obviously I feel fucked up because that was exactly the word that I was using in my questions. And then what came after that, my actions, I started to have way less patience. I started to tune up from her. For my action, then I really just let myself to become the result is then I became a fucked up husband. Right? One negative thought will trigger the whole conversation. This one cannot change. This one, it depends on what we do. Right? What we do is of course the action. The action is the result of our feelings. And the feelings is the result of thought. So with this framework, what it's trying to say is that what we need to work on is not about the action. It's not about I go and buy flowers for my wife and stuff like that. It's about I need to manage my thoughts. I need to manage the thoughts so that I feel this way. I feel this way, then I will do things this way, and then it will have the result that I'm working for. So this is kind of like the framework which I'm trying to learn right now, using this to identify how are we contributing to our current situation. I would like to think that I'm very convinced about now is life doesn't happen to us. Life happens for us. Of course, the difference is just to and for. Life happening to us is why is this person doing this to me? Why is my boss bitching about why are people being disrespectful? This is life happening to us. But now I'd like to remind myself that life happens for us. 2019, the state of my marriage, I forced myself to go on a healing journey. Now, because I managed to heal enough, COVID started, lost my job, only $100 deposit. But because of the healing that I managed to go through, I was more able to deal with that situation that I found myself in. Because of the healing, that's why when I finally managed to be able to contribute a little bit of something at the dormitory, where everyone was scared, there's emotions all over the places, I was then able to survive my time there. Had I not gone through the falling apart of my marriage, I would not have pushed myself to work on the healing part. And if I had not worked on the healing part, I would not be able to contribute, to do a little bit of something for the country, for the foreign worker brothers during that period as well. I think my biggest takeaway is that The only things that is within our control is really anything that is under our skin. What I think, what are my emotions, what are my actions or inactions from here on. Things that also goes into our body as well. So what I did was curating the media that I was consuming, the food, the water, or whichever, sugar and stuff like that. So this is also part of what is within our control. Anything that is outside of our skin, I cannot change. I can't change how you feel. I can't change your perception of how I'm wearing. I can't change how you are listening to me. All this, anything outside of my skin, I cannot change. The only thing is, we can only manage ourselves. But that's the greatest part. Because we can do everything that we want. That is all within us. We are the ones who contributed to our current situation, like it or not. The solutions that we need are actually within us all along.